pizza is good. It's so familiar and like inviting. This pan pizza, it had a special place in our hearts because every Friday we had it at school. You know, special occasions we had it in the penitentiary. Yeah, so it was like always a pan style pizza. What better way to break into the culinary industry than with pizza?
I use warm water as far as infused with yeast and sugar to activate the yeast. The whole thing as far as with us, the dough, it's not like it's a secret ingredient and all that. It's just the process of doing it. Yeah, flour, water, oil, sugar, and yeast. Basic things to make a dough. If I was to use like cold water with the dough, it would be hard to pull out. But when you're using a certain type of temperature of water, it makes the dough easy to poof, easy to rise, easy to manipulate. I'm gonna add the flour. It's 50-pound bags of flour. I dealt with dough before, but not as far as like this. Mike, he had a whole idea as far as doing the dough different than from what other pizza shops do. Can't say exactly what that is, but it's what separates our dough from everybody else. So now I'm gonna add our oil.
Our specific type of dough is super hydrated. Our dough is so resilient under the temperatures that we put it in, and it remains soft.
Yeah, well, me and Miz used to do this a lot, so I got to do it a lot with him. Been going through trial and error. Yo, let's try this. Yo, let's try that. And just trying to keep finding ways to tweaking it, to making it better. I get all night to do it. I got 10 hours to knock this out. Being in here at night, all I hear is hand chopping, maybe rain against the window, the dough. If you listen, you can hear it talking. Like that screeching, it's the dough. It's pulling from you hear it like it's pulling from the inside of the cylinder of the mixer. So now I know it's properly mixing. It's pulling from the side. Our dough wraps. The salt we're gonna put in as far as going near the end of the spin. And we don't wanna kill the yeast too early because we wanna be able to poof properly. When I let the salt blend in, it's really gonna smooth out like a ball. And I'll be able to pull it out, get the whamming with it. This the funny part when I gotta grease all up, so the dough don't stick to my skin. I got the burns and everything on me for going deep in the oven, and I put oil over it. Then the fun part is when I gotta stick these hands that's covered in oil back in the oven. The funny thing is, as I'm pulling it out, the dough is fighting to get back in. Feel the tension and the resistance from it, yeah.
Actually, the overhydration came by mistake, especially like during the summertime making the dough, like you got the humidity in the summertime. So it was really about finding out how much water we had to add. And once we hit that ratio, it was like, we're here. Mortimer, we're back.
This is about 80 pounds. See how that happened? So there's a certain amount of grams as far as we go for each dough. So these pans are like the old Detroit motor tins that they used to use back in the day. I'm gonna grease them up and get the whipping with it. We're not just in it just to make $1. They come because as far as what our mission is, as far as what our premise, as far as what our goal is, and it's to make change. You know, we already got the label on us anyway. A lot of things they don't be wanting to hear, period. Skill set, nothing. Shout out to Muhammad. You know what? We don't hire nobody unless they previously convicted. We take care of ourselves, we provide for ourselves, and we love ourselves. Like a lot of us came a long way 10 years ago. I think I'd be doing pizza and, you know what I mean, talking to y'all, this, that, and third. We was in dark places. It's like a good thing for us to be able to come here, you know, do something good. I got 5 sons. I'm trying to leave something, be a part of something that they could say, yo, yeah, my dad did that. Yo, that's my dad. Be able to provide to them so, you know what I mean, they can achieve better. That stepping stone. Something that somebody never left for us. So a lot of people wrap their dough. Then I was sitting in here one day and somebody had the heat on blazing. That's like poofing faster. So that's just one of the secrets as far as the dough. I turn the heat all the way up. It's saving me a step. Happy dough.
the thing that the carceral system has evolved in is like a big, big business. You know, the second largest employer in the United States. You can get people to do things for a fraction of what you would have to pay them if they were out here on the street. You know, a lot of everyday things are made within the prison. Over time, seeing the benefits of utilizing these people, you know, essentially as an extension of slavery. We're trying to just mitigate a lot of people going in and out of the system.
Who has joined us is the executive chef, Mike Carter, the man behind the dough. I just make the dough. He made the dough, you know what I mean? Yeah, cause I'm happy because you here. Please keep in mind that we are previously corrected, so we strongly are about ours. We are happy, we are smiling, but we are serious about ours.
So right now, I'm pressing the dough. You ever get a piece of pizza and it has like that big ass air bubble in it? So what I'm doing right now is pressing this out and basically condensing it. That's where you get the chewiness of the dough at. People have to understand, like, in order to get this perfect square pie, you have to press it into the corners. Like, it's real laborious work, but it's worth it. It's part of the craft. You gotta put that love into it. Mario used to be my boss, man.
No, we don't use words like that down north. Previously was working with Mike.
But he used to give me hours, yeah. So, like, basically the same part that I played for him once upon a time, like, he played that for me. Marv was one of the first people I called. We've been rocking out Scarface and Manolo minus Gina ever since.
We don't have no outside. Everything is in-house. This is 100% private. It's ours.
I think this style was more of Muhammad's push towards the nostalgia. We was talking about, like, when we grew up off Elio's and that school pizza. All you had to do is come home from school, set the oven, and there you go. There is something about pizza, man. You can see how it started filling the pan up, like rising all the way up. It's all the way into the corners. It's ready to be a canvas. We got Blodgett deck ovens. They go up to 650 and they're hot as shit. I got the proof and all that all the way up to the top of my arm. We always bake them off prior to orders so that we're ready to fire. Yeah, the oven repair guy, I watched him enough that I do it myself now so we don't have to call. Learn how to fix your equipment. I opened this restaurant with the top oven not working. It just went out on me. And I still had to make it happen. Everything was down here and I was doing so many squats, my legs started locking up. When you talk about hard work and dedication, I could literally kick doors off the hinges. See, a lot of people go by the dictionary definition of recidivism, which is somebody who comes from prison and reoffends. But recidivism is a system that works to recycle people back into the system. And in 2017, I actually caught a case. The officer in my case was shot in the line of duty. So they postponed my case for 27 months. I only owed the state 6 months for a violation, an absconding violation. They were able to hold me without bail for 27 months. Every judge that it went in front of, no, we're gonna hold it over for the officer. And then I get in front of this lady and she's like, he's been sitting for 27 months and the only reason he's still in here is because he's on parole for something that happened when he was 19? Man, dismissed with prejudice. That same officer, and he retired 2 years after that. He never came back to the line of duty. So technically, if I didn't get in front of that one judge, I would have sat for 5 years on a case I was never convicted of. So you can't have a hotel that's full of vacancies. You gotta fill it up. And that's what we deal with every day. 1 foot in the jail, 1 foot out the jail. As you can see, I need to get a better can opener, but I'll make it happen. The North sauce is our signature tomato sauce. Spicy, smoky, sweet, savory sauce that's better than anybody's sauce. We're about to dress this sauce up real nice. This is the sauce that I use for my lasagna. This is the sauce I use for my spaghetti. Arrabbiata sauce, the angry sauce. I had that at a restaurant when I was younger and it was just like, yeah, I like it like this. Even when I live with my grandma, I'm like, Mama, can I get make mine a little spicier? She's like, y'all love some spicy stuff in your mom family. Yeah, we do. It's just, I grew up eating hot shit. Like, my whole family, like, we've been eating hot sauce since we was babies. It's art to me. It's like I was always an artist, an artsy kind of kid. I just fell into the streets, more or less survival type situation, economical. My whole life I've been around chefs, cooks. We always sat around the table and we broke bread. I'm grandma's baby, so I'm always inside of the house. Mama, what you making? Mama, let me taste that. And Mama making macaroni and cheese, I'm still in the cubes. I was that kid, so like this has always been a part of me, like cooking. Before I got locked up when I was 19, I was registered to go to the restaurant school at Walnut Hill. And it's the way I survived when I was in jail. Even when I was incarcerated, it was always like, what can I make with these soups and these crackers? Oh, pizza dough. Like that's my original pizza dough that I was making when I was locked up. I was using ramen noodles and cheeses with a water circulator and a bucket.
So this is normally how I like to start off. I try to keep all cheese on dough. Cheese is the primer.
So we have a 4-cheese blend, provolone, Mott's blend, Grand Marave. It's like a Ukrainian Parmesan, same funky effect.
All of them use the same type of cheese except for my vegan pies.
What a No Better Love, what perfect name for a cheese pizza, because everybody loves cheese pizza.
So this is the No Better Love, our top selling, next to the Rock the Mic, which is the beef pepperoni one.
You need basic necessities. You need food, you need shelter. When so many doors are being shut, essentially y'all just giving them a basket to carry water in. Or you to be pigeonholed to something that may have happened while you were figuring out life for the rest of your life. That's not fair, because people are constantly growing. The common misconception about returning citizens, that they're not trying to evolve. They're trying their hardest. Before they come out, they're talking about what they want to do. Anything as simple as interaction with a police officer is considered a violation. That could put you back in.
This is the Rock the Mic.
Rock the Mic, that's our beef pepperoni pie. All our beef products are halal.
All right, we coming out with the Uptown Vibe.
Uptown Vibe, that's our veggie pie. I've had to lie my way into every kitchen I've ever been into. Like when you get that big work gap in your resume, I was working at SCI Greensburg in the kitchen. Here, you don't have to lie about who you are. It's just like the same struggle that people don't know about. It bonds us. And like we've been humbled in the worst way. So like when people see us a little antisocial to them, but it's like, it's normal to us. Like we've been dehumanized. We're trying to like rehumanize us to like society. We joke all day, all games, laugh, play. And it's like, we wouldn't get a chance to actually be our true selves in another work environment where we gotta hide that.
Okay, this is the Rock the Mic.
Like a big part of down north opening up, I'm like, it's illegal for us to be together. Like my guys, we all working together. It's a parole violation to be in a company of other felons. So we're gonna need a lawyer. He made sure, yeah, we got a lawyer.
The foundation, the support, the resources that we provide. One thing is giving them a job. We also have apartments that we have that they have access to if they need them. We want to amplify that and put that on the forefront of what we do and why we do it. Because a lot of it boils down to lack of resources. Giving chances, giving resources, how they can turn things around. A place where they can be the best version of themselves because they are being themselves.
Ooh, so that's to break you off right there. Getting that?
Now, to break you off is a white pizza. So I got a lemon ricotta base that I start with, then my traditional 4-cheese blend. We got a spicy lamb sausage. My guy Miles, he wanted to do this lamb sausage situation. It's just like I had some garlic honey up there that I had sitting for months. And it was so pungent and garlicky. And so when we pulled it out, it was just like, at first we were just gonna put Zataro on top of it. And then it was like, yeah, let's put this on there. And it's like, we got it. We put it out on Thursday and we were sold out by Saturday afternoon. And it's been a staple ever since. And can't forget that cheese fence. Crown in the industry, but it's the fence because we're combating recidivism.
Okay, so this is the flip side.
Economically, like this neighborhood is impoverished, so you have people that do whatever to survive. So when they get a chance to actually see some entrepreneurs come into the neighborhood that actually care about the neighborhood and they're outside sweeping, they're cleaning up, that's dope because I feel like representation is big and a lot of us are underrepresented.
It is time.
We have a special right now. Only reason I didn't put it on the menu because it's Philadelphia. They expect us to have a cheesesteak pizza all the time. So my side of town, I got a shaved ribeye, some fried onions on top, and a house-made whiz. So it's like a whiz with pizza.
Tales of a hustle. I'm from West Philly, so young sparks from the back street with them grams of slum. I feel like that song for our era, my generation, was like the anthem for Philly.
I like to call it North Philly pan pizza, Detroit pan pizza, you know what I mean? Because we definitely made it our own, and every pie is named after a Philadelphia hip hop song or Philadelphia song. I feel like it relates to the people. The food may bring you in here, but you're going to get the mission and the culture of the city. We're here to show people that offended came out here, built something from nothing, and actually help the community. Down North is doing is like we're being the catalyst to that change.